If you really want to go travelling but you don't have anyone to travel with, the idea of going alone can be really, really daunting. I'm here to give you 9 reasons why you should travel solo. I'm Lisa from Australian travel and migration blog dreamingofdownunder.com, and I've gone on lots and lots of trips completely by myself. When I was 20, I went to Australia on an exchange year, and that was the first year that I ever travelled, and I did that with another student. And I really wanted to do more travelling when I finished my degree, and I had a few friends that were kind of interested, but then they all ended up dropping out, and I didn't want to wait around for people and end up not going, so I booked a round the world trip completely by myself when I was 22. This was honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made. I don't regret it in any way. It's made me such an independent person. I'm not scared to go off anywhere on my own, and I can really see the difference between me sometimes and people who haven't done that kind of thing. So I really want to share the benefits of solo travel with you. Reason number 1 is to have the ultimate freedom. When you travel by yourself, you've got absolutely no one else to answer to, you've got no one else to consider. At other times in your life, particularly if you're very young now, like when you're older, you're going to have to think about other people, you might have a family, you might have a mortgage, that kind of thing. And when you go travelling by yourself, you just don't have to think about anyone else. You can do whatever you want in the day, you can go and see whatever you want, you can eat whatever you want, you can just, you've got the ultimate freedom, and I really, really love that feeling. Number 2 is that you can stay flexible. If you really decide you don't like a place, you can just move on without having to ask someone else if they mind. If you love a place, you can change your schedule and you can stay longer. You just don't have to consider anyone else, and you can really go with the flow and make the most of your trip. Number 3 is to make your dreams a reality. So if you're just waiting around for people to come with you, waiting for friends who are just faffing about, you can just waste so much time, and you can end up not doing the things that you really, really want to do. So if you really do want to go travelling, really just don't wait for other people. I would just get on it and do it while you've got the opportunity. Number 4 is to meet new people. So you might think that if you're travelling alone, you're going to be literally alone and you're going to be lonely. But what I found is when you're kind of travelling and you're on that kind of common backpacker route, you meet so many other backpackers. And most travellers have started out travelling alone and they want to make friends, so it's a really friendly community to join, and it's really easy to make friends, particularly if you're staying in places like hostels. And what I found is that when I'm by myself, I'm much more inclined to push myself to speak to people and make friends with people, whereas if I'm in a group or with a friend, I maybe just can't be bothered because that's a bit of extra effort. So the times that I made the most friends was definitely when I travelled alone, and I was probably the least lonely when I travelled alone. I did things like backpacker tour buses. I did a 6-week bus trip with Kiwi Experience around New Zealand when I graduated on a gap year. And it was just so much fun. I made such a good group of friends, and I met with other friends that I knew from home at different parts of my gap year because I travelled around the world, and that was really, really good fun. But I definitely made the most friends and had like really, really good fun when I was on my own as well. Number 5 is to build your confidence. You'll find when you travel alone, you can only rely on yourself and you have to solve problems and things by yourself. So you will be pushed to meet other people just so that you're not alone. If you get lost somewhere, you're going to have to ask someone. If you end up, in a country where you don't speak the language and you get stuck and you don't understand what something means in a restaurant or something, you've got to ask people to help you. So you kind of just have to get used to asking people and speaking to new people, and also just things like navigating a new city. I remember going on a friend's birthday weekend in Nottingham in the UK years ago, and I got the train there by myself, and then I got a bit lost, and then I asked someone, and I remember one of the girls there going like, "Oh my gosh, you got the train by yourself, you're so brave." And I was like, "What?" So I didn't say that, but I was like, it's like an hour on the train. It didn't cross my mind that people would be scared to do something like that on their own. So it just pushes you to a point where you're just not scared to go to places on your own. Like what's the worst that can happen? You might get lost and ask someone. I mean, we've all got maps on our phones now, so it's going to be okay. Number 6 is becoming more independent. So this is kind of linked to the last one, but you just won't be scared to go out and do things by yourself. If you're scared to go out and do things, you're going to miss out on things. And I remember coming back from a gap year and starting my first sort of office job, and some of the sort of older ladies there, they couldn't believe that I was brave enough to go to a cafe by myself. I mean, I wouldn't really go out for a big meal by myself, but not sort of unless I was kind of backpacking somewhere. But just to go and have a coffee by yourself, I can't imagine being uncomfortable doing that or being too scared to do it. So you really will just be so independent. And things like I went to festivals and I just went off on my own because I wanted to see different acts to my friends. And my friends were like, oh my gosh, you're so independent, because I wasn't like clinging to someone. I can't imagine being like that. So it will really change you. It will. Number 7 is to widen your opportunities. So once you've gained this kind of confidence and independence, you won't be scared to do the things you want to do just because you want someone to come with you. So just all sorts of things really. Like I've been to things on my own because no one will come with me, or because it was a bit last minute. Like I went to a literature festival on my own really last minute, and I ended up randomly going to a talk by J.K. Rowling and then getting a book signing and meeting her afterwards, which I would never have done if I'd waited around for someone to come with me. I went to a Lana Del Rey concert on my own just because I only found out it was on a few hours before it started, and I ended up getting this amazing ticket on the front row of the seating bit, and then I met other people who'd sort of done the same thing and bought it on that day, and just fun things like that. Like you end up doing things that you wouldn't otherwise do if you didn't have the confidence or independence to do them. Moving to Australia, for example, I moved to Australia on my own. It took me a really long time and I was really nervous, but I did it. I went to volunteer in an elephant nature park in Thailand on my own, had a really good week, met loads of people. There's just so many more things that you'll be able to do with your life. You'll really be able to enrich your life once you have that independence and you're not scared to do everything. Number 8 is getting to know yourself better. So if you're not around other people all the time, you'll have time travelling on your own to, really think about yourself and have some sort of me time. You can really have time to kind of think about the things you like in life, the things you want in life, to just notice things about your personality, just to notice like how you work, how your brain works, what kind of things you're into. Maybe work out what you might want to do as a career or some more options if you're younger, or even if you want a career change if you're older. Yeah, you will really get to know yourself when you travel alone. Number 9 is to preserve your existing friendships as well as your sanity. As much as I love going on holidays with friends, and I've had some amazing holiday with friends, when you travel long term, it's not like working with someone and then going home, or living with someone and then going to work and having space apart. You're together 24 hours a day, you're sleeping in a room with them, you're eating together, you're going to the supermarket together, you're having to choose all your meals together, you're having to plan your days together, your activities. It's more than a marriage. It's 24/7, and if you're going away with someone for a year, it's a year of together all day, every day. And for me, I just find that a little bit much. I'm very independent. I like to kind of just do what I want to do, basically. So I find when I've been away with friends, they've often been quite different to how they seem at home. People can act very differently when they're in a different environment, and I've been on holidays with people who I thought were really laid back, and they were actually very regimented, and it was all early mornings, alarm clocks. And I went on one trip with the girl who I'd worked with only for maybe a month, and we got on really, really well, and we went to Thailand for a month. And she didn't she didn't want to lie on the beach, she didn't want to go in the sun because she'd burn, she didn't want to swim in the water in case she got ill, she didn't want to eat anything kind of foreign in case she got ill, because her parents had kind of scared her into basically not doing anything. And we just obviously wanted very different holidays, and she ended up going home early. So if you do travel with someone, make sure you really, really both know what you want from the holiday, and maybe allow a bit of time to do things separately so you have some space. But yeah, definitely travelling alone will kind of save some of your friendships. I mean, it can be really good travelling with a friend. It can be an amazing experience to have together, but you do just need to be careful. I had one friend who travelled after uni with her old school friend, and the girl ended up kind of basically bullying her for a lot of the time, and she really didn't enjoy her trip. That's obviously a very bad situation and unusual, but I really would just go for it. Okay, that's it for my 9 reasons why you should travel solo. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking of going on a trip and you're thinking of doing your first solo trip, or if you're already a fan of travelling solo and it's something you do regularly. Honestly, when I look back at living in the UK, because I live in Australia now, I can't believe that I didn't travel more and go to Europe on my own. It just didn't really cross my mind to do that, and there's so much I could have done and seen with my weekends, so I do regret that. So just get out there and do it. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos on life in Australia. Thanks for watching.